Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi and welcome to The Tradie Show. I'm Andy and this is my wife Ange, and we're looking forward to talking to you today on how to connect with your customers to increase profits.
Yes. So how do you do that to actually have a successful business? The thing is, you actually need customers, don't you?
That'll help. That would help.
Because you can't have a successful business without actually having customers, and your customers equal profit, because the more customers you have, or the good jobs you have and the profitable work that you make with these guys, it makes the profit, right? The two go hand in hand. You can't have one to end up with the other.
And you need customers, but you need quality customers too, and you need to be able to make sure you get the best out of those customers to equal more profit.
That's right. But here's the problem, that when you actually say to a tradie that they need to look after their customers, or you need to have customers and do some fantastic work to actually gain profit, because if that's your end goal is to get profit, they say, but that means I have to be a salesman. That means I need to sell things to people, don't they? And the problem with that is?
Well, the problem is most tradies believe that they're a tradesman and they're not a salesman.
Right.
And when they think about being a salesman, they think about the sleazy salesman, and they think about the guys down the car yards and the way they really try and convince you to purchase. But that's the old school way of doing things, isn't it? Because the first thing is you've got to realise that it doesn't matter what you do, sales is everything you do, isn't it?
Yeah, sales is everything you do. And the critical component here is you've really got to let go of this preconceived idea of that to be a salesman is the only way. When you think of salesman, you've got to let go of the fact that this preconceived idea of this car salesman. You've got to actually say to yourself, all I'm actually trying to do is educate my customer, because all you want them to do is to make a decision, so that they can only make a decision because they've now got knowledge from you as a professional, right? So they've now got knowledge to go, oh, now I have the knowledge, I'm going to make a decision to, yes, get you to work with me, or no, I won't get you to work with me for whatever reason. So what do you do to do that? You have to empower them, don't you, and give them knowledge and connect with them.
Well, firstly, you need to make them feel very comfortable around you.
Absolutely.
You need to win them over from the start, but you really need to build that trust, and it's really about explaining to them, or when you're talking to them, that they actually trust you, believe you, and believe you're a good guy, and that you're going to do the right thing by them.
Yes.
And that's the way to earn that trust.
Yeah. So it is all about connection. So it's all about connecting with your customers, and you just being authentically you, an authentic professional you. So, there are a lot of things that some tradies do that are, which we'll go through today, that kind of puts them on the back foot. So there is a way to do this. But if you say to yourself, I know I need to make a sale to this customer, but I'm going to do it in a sense that I'm just going to be friendly and personable and give them my professional opinion, and help them make a buying decision, so that they just like me, they respect my decision, they expect my advice, and now we have a connection that they actually feel good about it. So it's not scary. It's not scary, is it? Yeah,
and some of the best salesmen, people out there are the ones that aren't pushy. They're the ones that they understand you, they can read you, they understand what the customer wants. And that's just not one customer. You could be in a room of 50 people and they could read each person and understand how to deal with each person, maybe by the way they look, by the way they talk, by the way they act.
Yes.
So you've got to adapt to the way your customer is acting to make sure that you get the best out of your customer. Yeah, that's a really good point. And we'll get into that as we talk, because the critical thing here is you just need to connect, as you just said, with each customer individually. So
So to do that, you actually need to become your customer. Like you really need to put yourself in their shoes and think the way they think, don't you? So
you do, and I think that all of us, when we're in business, you need to know, and we always talk about your avatar, but it's your ideal client, and you need to, live and breathe and understand exactly about your ideal client, but then, and you've got to become them.
Yes.
And that's like the slide is showing here. You need to become them. But the big thing to understand is you may have an ideal client and you're always marketing and working towards that ideal client, but each client is still an individual.
Absolutely.
So you need to know how to deal with them at the time. And not only at the time, everyone is having ups and downs within their day. So sometimes they can be having a bad day or something may not be right. Nothing to do with you, nothing to do with the business, just they're not having the best day. And it's your job to help turn that around to make sure they're on a winner. Because if they're feeling cranky, if they're upset, if they're really down in the dumps, you're never going to get a good sale, I suppose. You're never going to get exactly where you want to go.
Yeah.
So you need to turn around the way they're acting at the time and make them into this positive, understanding, they love you, love what you do, and they just go, you know what? This person, I believe them wholeheartedly, and this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to follow their lead.
Absolutely. So you need to actually embody them. You need to actually think the way your customer thinks. So for you might deal with commercial clients, residential clients, builders, like industrial clients. Like you've probably got quite a few different target audience or avatars that you work with. So you need to think differently when you are working with those clients. So for this exercise, let's just become a residential client. Okay. So imagine that you are a 40-year-old mother, you're a working mum, so you're really busy, 2 little children at home, one stays home and one's at school, so they might, do a kindy or whatever. Husband works full-time, and you're really busy. You have high expectations about anybody kind of in your world just because you are exceptionally house proud, you're a homeowner, and because your day is so busy, you're trying to juggle not just, the looking after the home and looking after the children, but you're actually trying to juggle your own career, your social life. So things are busy. So you have somewhat high expectations about people trying to fit into your world. So become her for a moment while we go through this exercise, because it'll make sense. And then once we've done the whole thing, go back and put yourself back into another avatar's shoes. So that could be like a strata manager or whatever, and think differently when we apply what we're about to show you today. But for this exercise,
we talk about our ideal client there of the 40-year-old female, but you may have that client as a 40-year-old male, because you don't always have that female when you turn up on site. So you need to, as you said, go through different plans to make sure, you're going to deal differently with the female than you are potentially with the male.
That's right. So let's go through it.
Yeah.
Is that cool? So the thing that's really important is when you embody your customer, so when you become them, the thing you actually need to understand is every single person, every single one of your customers, and you inclusive, like you'll actually now recognise this in yourself, goes through a particular buying decision. So it's very, very specific. It's the 5-step buying decision. So this is how it goes. The very first step is you. So what I mean by that is they judge you as an individual, that as the tradie, you show up, that is actually going to be able to do that piece of work that they've called you out. And then it moves up to the business. Once they've passed you and you've ticked a box in a sense and they like you, this is all about likability, they then start saying to themselves, who does this person represent? Who is this business that they work with, and are they credible? So they do ask themselves a lot of questions. And then it goes up to the 3rd step, which is all about the product and service. Is this person and this business offering me the right solution? Have I been provided with the right options? And then it goes up to the 5th step, which is all about price. It's important that it's about value and not price. But this is the 4th step in this buying decision. And the final piece of the pie is all about timing. So the customer then is in a position whereby they'll make a decision whether or not they want to actually go ahead with that piece of work now or later. So the critical thing about this is you build trust along the way. this buying decision works in exactly these 5 steps, in exactly this chronological order for your customer and even for yourself. Think about how, think about that when anytime you've actually gone and bought something.
Oh, exactly. And I think that when you go through this simple process, I would say that people are sitting there going, yeah, I understand that, because you've got to go through that process before you really want to spend that money. And we're not, it's not always like a $10 item. This could be like $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million,
Yeah.
So it depends on where you're at. But obviously people need to go through these buying decisions before they ultimately make that decision.
Yes. So let's take you through each one of these individually so that you have an understanding of kind of how this works in your world, because the better you understand this about your customers, the better you're going to be able to make sales with every single customer to make profit, because that's what we're trying to do here. So let's talk about you, meaning you as an individual showing up on that tradies, on that doorstep for that female.
Yeah, and the first 30 seconds are really critical here. And, you go from, especially with our businesses, from the moment the guys make a phone call to the customer to let them know they're running on time, as always. Sometimes you have your challenges, but we're running and we're going to be a certain amount of time away. It just makes the customer go, great. I know they're not going to catch me in the shower, or they're not going to catch me doing breastfeeding, or whatever that may be. It's giving them an understanding of, okay, he's going to be here in 20 minutes. Fantastic. He's a likeable, friendly, loving person on the end of the phone. And they go, wow, he sounds like a nice guy. And it's just really, I'm looking at, hi, Mrs. Jones, it's Andy here, and you talk.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.